In Central Asia, specifically in Tajikistan, there is the Pamir Mountains that has the highest highway in the world, and also it's a really conflicted zone because they had a civil war in the 1990s. Now it's an autonomous republic that requires permits to enter and also a permit to exit the country. It's really rural and remote, and I don't know how we'll get through this whole mountain range. It will take about a week. It's going to be one of the most dangerous and unknown journeys I have taken upon myself. So let's do it, and поехали! Going on a mission without a goal is not a mission. So we're going to reach an abandoned observatory next to the Chinese mountains. I found a car that is preparing to take us. Hopefully he's a safe driver, because in Tajikistan, the people here drive like Schumachers. Huh? The first thing I noticed as soon as I sat down in the car is a cassette player. This, I haven't seen it in ages. Oh my God. Gates to Dushanbe. We're about to leave this place and we're not doing any city vlog, but you can check out Drew Binsky for that. In Dushanbe, I spent 2 nights. The capital didn't excite me as much. Gigantic monuments, tasteless modern buildings, and crazy drivers. Luckily, the driver drove safely overall, but with occasional texting. I got the permit for Gorno-Badakhshan and crossed my fingers for the best. The ride began well, and sitting in the front costed $10 more. On the 6-hour ride, we passed beggars on the highway, villages, a bazaar, and even got pulled over by the police for the bribes. The Pamir Highway stretches from the Afghanistan to Kyrgyzstan. However, on this journey we only traveled through the Soviet part that runs through the Gorno-Badakhshan, an autonomous region in the eastern Tajikistan. It covers 40% of the country's territory but only makes up 2% of the population. The relatively small number of residents still managed to form an uprising against the central government in the 1990s, which started the 5-year civil war. Also, the region is very harsh regarding its climate and road conditions, yet I managed it well. Halfway to Kalaikum, I realized the driver had chosen a different route from the famous Pamir Highway. I'm still trying to figure out why. When we reached the Panj River, across the stream we saw an Afghan settlement for the first time, without any people inside. We just arrived in Kalaikum. It's been 7 hours since we left Dushanbe. I'm going to spend the night here because I cannot do 13 full hours to get to the bigger city. Kalaikum only stood out a little. 1 street, 1 park, posters of the president, and few hotels. I was nervous because it was remote. This town is really small, but it has a police station, a shopping center, restaurants, cafes. Everything needed, I guess, for this population here. Finally, after an hour of searching, I found a place to stay. I've rented the bed for the night. It cost $10 in a nice guest house compared to a fancy hotel down the street where they tried to charge me $70 per night. It was finally the time to explore something unique in the city. I found a driver who's taking me to a special place here in the town that might be really fun to check out. And to my right is the main village that belongs to Afghanistan. I guess this border is not so secure because you can just cross it by water and there's no guards here, no fences, no snipers. This is not like in Termes, obviously. What do you think this is? Take a good guess. This used to be an airport. Yeah, the airport was the best find in Kalaikum. The planes used to land here on a daily basis during the Soviet era. However, now only used for military and emergency purpose. Also, it looks like a very difficult runway to take off and land, surrounded by mountains and a cliff. I've never seen an airport without a pavement. I guess those Soviet planes were really good at landing on grass. After a short exploration, I returned to the hotel. I think this is the perfect moment to end the day. There's a long journey ahead of us. See you tomorrow. Good morning, it's day 2 on our adventure through the Pamirs. It was really comfortable sleeping here up high in the mountains. Now I have to find another transportation that will take us more than 6 hours to get to the next town. Thanks to the owner of the hotel, he walked me to the auto terminal.
Вот этот
Машина хорошая.
терминал, начальник терминал, Акай Нурали.
Надо вам что-то подъехать.
Unfortunately, I was sent to the other part of the town for the car. Most of the cars left early in the morning, but some of them leave in the afternoon. But there's also a complication because the road's under construction. I began searching for a ride on an empty road. An hour passed and decided to get some lunch. Then returned to the street for another hopeful attempt. After 2 hours of searching for a car, I got lucky, but it's a pretty comfortable car. Not too many people, only 5 of us. And the road is getting really shady. Hopefully we don't get stuck on the road closure. Here's the situation. We hit a roadblock. There's construction going on. They said they're gonna start at 2. It's 1:55 now, so obviously they don't follow the rules. We were unlucky to get stuck the first ones. Now they say that it's until 6 p.m. And there's a local businessman who's selling
Urjuk, готовлю,
и кефир.
О, кефир. Это коровни, баранины,
Some piroshki with potatoes, apples.
Чало, говорят по-таджикски, чало.
Чало.
Чало, да.
Вот это чало.
Да.
In about an hour, the road opened and we took off, but only for a short time. Another roadblock by the Chinese construction company. Well, we can't do much, but at least in 2-3 years, you guys will be able to travel these regions pretty comfortably. Most people seemed calm because this is not the first time for them, except one. There was no cell phone signal and nothing to do besides talk. Then one of the truck drivers decided to cut up a cantaloupe for the homies. It's been 2 hours since we got to the second stop, and we still have about 4 hours to drive after they opened the road. The Chinese were building the road for the future of trading, but I was lucky enough to experience the actual Pamir Highway conditions, consisting of a narrow dirt road on the cliff. Dangerous, but with a slow speed, I felt fine. It's getting dark and we still have a long way to go. I'm not sure how safe it is, but I trust the driver and wish me luck. Мы ночью сможем доехать так? It's 9 p.m. We've stopped for some food because we still have 3 hours to go. This is what they're serving, chicken with fries and some beer. One of the travelers in the car with us is telling me that the people in the Pamir speak their own language, and Dushanbe it's the Tajik language. I guess it's a different dialect from the Farsi. After the long-awaited dinner, we took off for the final leg. It was pitch dark, therefore the speed was slower. At around 1 in the morning, I was dropped off at the hotel. Good morning from Horuk, from the capital city of Autonomous Republic of Gorno-Badakhshan. Yesterday was a really difficult ride that took 12 hours with 2 major blocks on the road, but in the end we got here safe and sound. And check out the guest house I was staying at last night. It's right next to the river, looks super dangerous. Because when the glaciers melt and the rain comes, I think this water rises, so I'm not sure how safe this is. In the 19th century, Gorno-Badakhshan was divided into 3 empires, to the Russian, to the British, and to the Bukharian. However, when USSR formed, it joined the Union in 1925 as an autonomous republic. But 4 years later, it turned into a territory of Tajikistan as an autonomous region. Today we will continue our journey towards the east, to the Chinese mountains. It will take another 6-7 hour ride. But before that, let's explore the capital city of Horuk. This is the former bread factory that was built during the Soviet times, and now, unfortunately, it doesn't work anymore. The highway that we came on yesterday from all the way to Dushanbe was built in 1935. It took 104 days and 30,000 people. That's quite fast for a 560-kilometer highway. When the communist government came here, they began to construct fabrics, factories, industries of various kinds. With all that investment from the central government, Tajikistan and Gorno-Badakhshan remained the poorest region of all. And unfortunately, after the collapse of Soviet Union in 1990s, Tajikistan entered a civil war with 3 factions fighting for the government. And after the war, decommunization began to take place in order to satisfy the Muslim population of this country and to bring peace and stability. Wow, check this out. The first time I see a Soviet-built house in Tajikistan. Doesn't seem like Panelki, or maybe it is, but definitely from that era. Besides the botanical garden, this side of town was very mellow, only a little to see. Gardens were outside of my interest to visit, so I wanted to continue the journey. I have the local policeman helping me to get a car to the terminal because no cars are stopping by, because you have to call the taxi. Assalamu alaikum. Getting anyone chatting on camera was challenging because Gorno-Badakhshan has a political conflict with the Tajik government. In fact, there have been 5 standoffs in the past 10 years, including last year when 40 people were killed in Horuk for blocking the road to the region. Now you get why the majority refused to be in my video. I just arrived at the terminal where the cars headed to the next city, Morgop, and look what we found. A beach with a turquoise water. Pretty cool. At the terminal, they told me that the next car leaves at 6 p.m. That's in 5 hours. But one of the guys said go down to the police checkpoint and maybe they can help you. I made my way to the police checkpoint. They stopped every car for documents, but no one was headed to Morgop. Then I returned to town by bus. Well, we are back in Horuk, in the city center, because I spent 2 hours at the police checkpoint and we couldn't find the car that is going to the place I need to go. So I will have some lunch here and return to the terminal later. The lunch was completely awful. I wasn't shocked to film it. The other side of the town seemed more lively, but I couldn't risk missing another taxi to Morgop. I just got back to the terminal and luckily there's a car that's going to Morgop. It's going to be a 6-hour ride. We're going to hit the night, so it's going to be quite dangerous. Let's do it. And we're off to Morgop. It's a car full of 9 people, really tight in here, but I got the front seat. You gotta pay a little bit extra for that. As usual, there's a roadblock, construction going on. I'm not sure what time it's gonna finish. It's 5:30 now. Usually they finish at 6, so we're going to have to wait here. We are going to a cafe because further on everything is closed. For dinner we're having a traditional plov, which is very famous in all of Central Asia. This is a Tajik style. I'm not sure how it differentiates from Uzbek or from the Kyrgyz one, but it's very delicious. I highly recommend everybody to try it. And now we're gonna have a 5-hour journey ahead of us. And check this out, it's pretty dark at this point, almost nighttime. I can't film too much because my camera is not good enough. A 6-hour ride somehow turned into 10. I felt car sick for the first time in my life. It was pitch black outside with absolutely nothing on the road. At this point I was completely shattered. That was quite a ride last night. It took us 9 hours and most of it was in the dark. It was really empty mountains. There was no villages, no shops, no gas stations whatsoever. This is the most remote place I've ever visited in my life. I didn't see much of the city obviously, but I already felt it was very different. This is the living room where the breakfast was, and you have a 180-degree view. We are really high up in the mountains. It's quite chilly here. And then if you go this way, you have the rooms. And this is my room, ladies and gentlemen. Very basic bed. You have a little counter, heating system for the cold at night, and the views. Wow. Well, let's go out and explore the city a bit because it's already looking really, really unique from outside the window. The first thing I noticed I was walking out from the hotel is actually the houses. And we have the kids. Hello, how are you? Salam alaikum.
What's your name?
Paul.
My name is Nurkanat.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
My name is Sherali.
Sherali, nice to meet you. So what I was saying was that the houses are all white and the mountains are deserted. This reminds me of South America, like the Andes Mountains in Bolivia or Peru. I haven't been there, but I've seen lots of videos. What do you guys think? Definitely has some similarities. Wow, the city is not too small. Look what we stumble upon, a local market, a bazaar. There's even a yurt here. Then I found the only open container with a person inside and wanted to know more about the village. В каком году город был основан?
До Союза было здесь маленький кишлак, потом уже колхозы, совхозы собрались. Там,
Тут кыргызы жили всегда?
Да, киргизы жили. Ну, местные были, таджики, но мало было. Но киргизы жили.
Знаете тут обсерваторию? Где тут такси можно словить?
До туда?
Да. С кем я могу
Все,
пообщаться?
пожалуйста.
Вот здесь, да?
Да.
Все, Рахмат.
Пожалуйста, Миша.
I forgot to mention, as you might have noticed already, the people here look quite different. That's because this region, in the east part of Gorno-Badakhshan, that's where the Kyrgyz live. And they've actually been on this territory for quite some time. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. В каком году город был основан?
О, 27-го года.
А, во время СССР?
Да,
А до СССР тут кишлак был?
до СССР, да.
Здесь ничего не было.
Не было до СССР?
Не было.
А знаете, тут обсерватория есть очень знаменитая,
Я знаю,
заброшенная.
я там работал.
Серьезно?
Да, я там
Вау!
работал.
А до какого года там этот работал?
До 92-й.
И закрылась?
Развал Советский Союз и сразу закрыли. Ленинградская обсерватория. Они оттуда уехали, вот эти, которые
Да,
обсуждали Ленинградские.
да.
Потом мы там принимали. Лагерь себе сделали, иностранцы охоту делали.
Сколько километров туда?
50 километров.
50?
Да.
Salam alaikum. The people here are very friendly. Everybody seems to talk on camera. Nobody's shy compared to rest of Tajikistan, which I couldn't get anybody to speak on camera. Вау, посмотрите! Ленин, да? В каком году поставили?
Точно
Не
не
знаете?
знаю.
Вы тут жили в Союзе?
Да,
Как тут было? Нормально?
Нормально.
Хороший дядя был, да?
Конечно.
Умный. Ну, слава богу, то, что хоть одного оставили. So the elder gentleman is telling me that they moved the statue from probably somewhere from the city center to here, in front of the school. That's what I assume it is. Сфотографировать? Вместе? Вместе?
Или отдельно.
Раз, два. Any person that lived in USSR during their conscience age, which I would consider after age of 16, would say it was a great time. Everybody had work, vacation, housing. Unfortunately, nowadays young people are very confused and don't know what's the story of the past. All they care about is freedom, which I think is subjective as well. Было лучше тогда или сейчас? Когда лучше было?
Тогда тоже было, сейчас тоже лучше.
Тут половина кыргыз, половина таджик,
Ага,
50 на
да,
50
да.
живут? Вау.
Дружными.
Да, я заметил, очень красиво тут. А где такси можно, хочу в горы
там,
поехать?
базаре.
На базаре есть,
На
да?
базаре идёт.
Wow, what a place. Everybody seems to be open to chat. I love it. Very friendly people. While exploring the city, I met a traveler from South Korea, right?
Yeah, right.
What's your name?
My name is Hwayong from South Korea.
Nice to meet you, man. Well, what brings you all the way to this place?
I just exploring some unique place like this,
Uh-huh.
abandoned some things,
Uh-huh.
all of the Central Asia except Afghanistan.
How you like it so far?
It's better than Pakistan.
Better than Pakistan.
Yeah, the Punjab.
Now we're looking for a car to the observatory. Hopefully somebody comes through. GoPro, you got the Hero 8 or 9 or 10? 10, okay. So I've made contact with Zokir, the driver from yesterday. He's helping me out to reach the observatory because nobody wants to go there and it's quite expensive. This is exactly the Soviet road that we were driving on last night. Imagine being here when it's pitch black with no villages around. If anything happens to your car, you're pretty much stuck till the next day. Before we reach the peak, let's check out how the scientists used to live. Obviously they didn't live at the top, which is about 500 meters above, but the houses are built out of wood. We have a lot of machinery here, old Soviet cars. Super cool. Some of the houses look newer, but nobody's here, not even a security guard. An old tractor or whatever that is. Well, let's make our way to the top and finally reach the final destination. 50 kilometers from Murgop, 4,500 meters above sea level, we've made it to the Soviet-built observatory, Shorbolak. Look at this. We're on top of the Pamir Mountains. Unbelievable. This was constructed in 1970s. It only functioned for around 20 years. And nowadays they're in the process of renovating it and once again make it function. The telescope that's inside was brought all the way from Odessa to Osh in Kyrgyzstan and then through the harsh mountainous terrain. Wow, unbelievable. How could they bring this here? You might wonder, why did I partake in such a journey? Well, 1 week ago, I found out about the Pamir Mountains and the Gorno-Badakhshan region. It really grabbed my attention, but I couldn't just travel without a mission. And this mission ended up being here in the Pamir Mountains, next to the Chinese border, somewhere 50 to 100 kilometers away from here. This is quite an extreme journey. I've never done such a thing before. It was really difficult to achieve, but it's doable. If you made it this far in the episode, please put a like, subscribe, leave a comment of what your thoughts about this place. Thanks for watching and see you till next episode, Nomads.